Thank you for coming, and thank you for being there the other side. My name is Marco, and today we are going to talk about how to overcome fear into the learning zone and into the growth zone. Okay? So, I'm going to use the example of what we are going through this period of time. Now that we spent 2 or 3 months confined in quarantine due to the COVID phenomenon, it's interesting, and I'm going to analyze this from my perspective. It's interesting of what I've observed people going through. Before the COVID, all of us were somehow in a kind of a comfort zone. Nothing was going on that was that special. We had a normal workflow. We would go out with apparent no rules, so we could go and gather with our friends, with our families, go outside, go walk in the mountains, go to a bar, to a restaurant, and everything was apparently normal. It was comfortable. This is why we call the comfort zone. Then what happened? Then suddenly in March, what happened is everything has to be shut down. Everything has severe rules. You only can go out to the supermarket or the pharmacy. You can't gather. You can't leave your country. You can leave your town even. It's not allowed to go out and walk, and that's difficult especially for those of us that are used to go out and to be in nature. Okay, so what happened here, and it's normal to see, is you come out of your comfort zone and suddenly you're in waters that you never swum before. What happens here is that you connect most probably with fear, because as what's in human nature is that we don't deal well with the unknown. Normally, the first stage of this is fear, is that we fall into fear. And what we do when there is fear? Well, normally our brain, our neocortex brain, the one that is logic and calm, and it kind of disconnects, because we enter kind of a zone of fight or flight or freeze zone. So this is dealt with what's called reptilian brain, and this is where fear is, and this is where stress is built, and this is where survival instinct is highlighted. Fear. That's the limit outside the comfort zone. And what do we do when we are in fear? Well, we go to the supermarket and we buy loads and loads of toilet paper, loads and loads of canned food, water, like if it's the end of the world. And what we do when we are in fear, we connect with our basic instincts. So also reactions like anger, like arguing for nothing with the people that are around us, our family, our friends, projecting our bitterness and our disagreement with things, and we start connecting with things that feed that fear. And what feeds that fear? Well, for instance, conspiracy theories, and we start spreading information even without seeing if that's really true. what's going on with that information. I'm not saying that it's fake information or if it's really true. Is the emotion that is feeding our behaving by spreading that information that somehow feeds again. That it's like a cycle. I'm in fear, and that's everything that I see around, and I connect with that fear and I spread that fear, and I'm in that area and I can see through. Okay, so some people really can connect and identify that emotion and say, okay, this is not useful for me, this is not helping me, this is not giving me peace or tranquility. I can sleep good, I'm not being able to sleep as I would like to, I'm projecting, anger to everyone around. This is not good. I have to get out of this. So when do I get out of that? Well, I get out of that first by identifying what's going on. That's the first step. And when I identify what's happening, well, when I observe my behavior, this is when I start, well, I don't need to buy all this toilet paper. The supermarkets are open. There is everything. There wasn't a time that I went to the supermarket and there wasn't enough toilet paper, for instance. So this is when I start observing that fear has no base. So I stop that fear. I stop observing what's happening with me, what's happening outside, and then what's happening with me. Very important that after that, identifying those emotions, or at the same time, I can start letting go of the things that are out of my control. I can control that people are going to get, infected by the virus. I can control that. I can control if they're going to live or die. Of course, I can somehow develop empathy, but at what stage or depth in that empathy is going to bring me somehow calmness, tranquility, or if I go too deep in that empathy, that's what I call an unhelpful or unhealthy empathy, is that going to drag me into that pain? Is that going to be useful or helpful for me? Well, probably not. So, okay, I observe. Is there anything I can do? Am I a doctor? Am I a nurse? Am I someone that is directly connected with this virus stuff? Okay, I'm going to do my work. I also, even if I'm a doctor or a nurse, I can decide, am I going to do this from fear, or I'm going to do this from belief that I'm doing my best and that I'm providing the best I can to this person. You can always choose the emotion that is behind everything you do and think and how you behave. Some emotions are going to bring you into unpeaceful or unsettling mindset, and some are going to bring you at the end some tranquility and calm. And you can decide that. Even that outside of you, the external world is really like chaos. At the end, what is inside of you, mind and heart and emotionally speaking, you decide what to do with that. Sometimes you need practice, but it's something you can practice. It's not something you can, it's something you can control. What else can you do in this, what I call a learning zone? So we've come from a comfort zone, then into fear, and now we are already in a zone, in an area that we call learning zone, learning area. Besides identifying the emotions and being more of an observant part of what's going on in your life, you can, for instance, verify the information that you're gathering and then that you're passing on. Because that information, and sometimes I've done that, I've passed information that I thought it was reliable, and then in the following day it says, no, this is fake. So what I did is I stopped every information that people are sharing with me. At least out of me, it's not going anywhere if I don't know exactly that information is really, really something I can rely on. And for this, there's an exercise from this lady, I don't know if you can call it coach, self-growth guru, whatever. She's called Byron Katie, and the work she does is called, well, it's called The Work. And it's based on 4 questions. The first question is, whatever you think, whatever the information you have, the first question she does is this true? Okay, you say, yeah, I think it's true. And then the second question she does is, are you absolutely sure that this is true for you? And this is when we start, well, can I prove that 5G really are bad for people? Can I prove that Bill Gates is really trying to, kill half of the population with vaccination and everything? Is it really true that the numbers of the government is giving us about the people that are dying in the hospitals are true? Is it really absolutely, I can absolutely prove that everything that is out there is true? This is important because the beliefs behind all that information that we are dealing with, the beliefs are really the ones that are messing around with our state of mind, with our mindset, with our emotional structure. It's the belief in A or B that are unbalancing us. So this is important. Is it true? Are you absolutely, sure that this is true? Third question, how do you feel when you believe that this is true? What's the emotion? Is something that guides you somehow into peace, or is it something that unbalances you, brings you sadness, anger, and fear? Okay? Again, you choose. The last question, the 4th question is, who would you be, or how would you behave if you didn't have this belief, the belief or the feeling that you answered, that you connected on the 3rd question? Okay? So, is it true? Can you absolutely know that this is true? 3rd, how do you react when you believe that thought? Who would you be without that thought? How would you behave without that thought? Think about this. Every time that this information comes, or that you connect with a belief or a thought that unsettles you, question you that. Okay? Very important. This is not for us to feel shame or guilt for what we are doing. We are doing the best we know and can at every time and every stage in our lives. So this is important. Acknowledge that you're doing your best. This is where you learn. And after, when you overcome this learning zone, this is when you start to grow. Okay? This is when you probably find a purpose. When you're in fear, you just want to survive. There are no purpose. Well, probably the purpose is survive, but it's based on fear. It's not a life purpose, probably. In the growth zone, I think, we think, you think on how we can help others. I will probably use my skills to service the ones in need. What can you do? I'm sure that there's something you can do to help others, and that you feel somehow a sense of purpose by doing this, a sense of contributing, of serving others. What I've done, for instance, is I always somehow did go away from the video and the live broadcast and everything. And what I've been doing, because I was not able to do, presential workshops and talks and sessions, what I did is I start, coming more online and doing some videos online. This is my way of dealing with the situation. I show empathy. We show. This is a way of showing that you're growing, that you're in the growth zone, is on how you show empathy to yourself and to others. But remember, empathy could be a knife with two edges. Can cut both ways. The healthy empathy is when you see the other, when you connect with the other, when you understand what they're feeling, and you're able to help, to be of support, without being dragged by the pain and the suffering of the other. Because if you're dragged by the pain and the suffering, instead of one being painful and suffering for something, there will be two, you and the other person. So yeah, understand, see the other, be somehow an impact towards the other, but don't let yourself be dragged on that suffering and pain, because it's not helpful. It's also a sign that you're in the growth zone when you live in the present and somehow visualize a positive and constructive future ahead of you. When you dwell on the past, you will tend to be depressed. That's not a growth zone. You might look in the past and say, okay, I've learned this, this, and this, and this. I'm in the present. I can use that knowledge to be a better person, to express myself in a better way in the world that I am at. And now I'm also going to use that information to improve somehow my future. But remember, the present is where you live at. That's your reality. So be mindful of that present. You're in the growth zone when you keep yourself emotionally happy and transmit hope. Hope, not fear. Sometimes when we are passing that information, what we are transmit is fear. If you're in the growth zone, if you understand that what you want, what you would like to experience is well-being, what you are passing through you, all those informations, all that videos and whatever message you're dealing with, transmit happiness and transmit hope and tranquility. It doesn't mean that you're not going to act, that you're going somehow to be, I don't know, a vegetable sitting on a sofa. No. But it's from the place that you do that. Okay? That's very important. You're in the growth zone when you show gratefulness. Okay? And that's important because even though that we are in this crisis, we were able to, we all have a bed. We were able to wake up and open our eyes and being able to walk and going to the bathroom and open our warm water tap, have a shower, go to the kitchen, open. We have food. We had money to go to the supermarket and buy whatever we needed to. Even though we were in crisis, there are things to be grateful for. I had my girlfriend, my wife, which is the same person, okay, I don't have two, we lived this together. Look around you. Who do you have around you that you can hug? And the life, if you see it from this perspective, the life is always giving us opportunities to learn something from all experiences that we go through. So, what can you be grateful for? Make that question today. You're in the growth zone. If you find ways to adapt to changes, adapt is surviving, is thriving. So, what have you done to adapt to this situation? I'm sure you've done so many things to adapt, little things. That's what makes us, grow, evolve as a species, is our ability to adapt. If you don't adapt, you'll die. You're in the growth zone if you practice calmness, patience, and improve your relationships, and you develop creativity. Okay? And this is basically what I want you to share with you. Remember, comfort zone, everything is, cool, everything is all right. Then you have the fear zone. So this is when you see everything dark. There is no way. Then the learning zone. This is when you start observing yourself and how you can improve. And then the growth zone. This is when, if I want to put everything in a sentence, this is where you start to being grateful for the opportunity that life is giving you to learn something out of the given experience. Okay? So, as you know, we are in the what I call English Week. As probably many of you know, I work a lot with Spanish people because we live in Spain. But also I have a lot of friends, clients from the past that are English speaking, and I wanted to honor you with this English Week, that I'm going somehow to squeeze a lot of topics that I normally talk to the Spanish in a more a different time set, let's say. Tomorrow we're going to, tomorrow is going to be fun. It's going to be cool. We're going to talk about what I call the 4 pillars of change. So the 4 what you need to introduce personal transformation and change in your life. I'm going to give you also some tools to do it, as I gave you today with the Byron Katie tool, The Work. If there's some of you that don't know me, my name is Marco. I'm Portuguese, and I live in Spain for 15 years this year, and I've been through a lot of change in my life. So, just leaving my country to this country, leaving everything behind, work, family, and and to pursue a dream. Okay, this is what I wanted to do is somehow develop my work in the natural therapies. And I've done Chinese medicine, I've done nutrition work, I've done, until at the end what I found is what is somehow directing our life is our mind, and what's behind that deepest is our emotions, our emotional structure. So I've done some also formation training in that, and this is what I do now. I coach people and I help people that have certain conflicts and difficulties in life to deal with those. What I want and my mission is to, you know, bring some coaching tools and some self-growth tools and spirituality related tools to people to evolve into well-being, personal well-being, and emotional freedom as well. This is what I do now. And you seeing this video, you know, a little bit later, please feel free just to leave in the comments any questions you could have. I'm more than happy to answer them to you. Okay? Well, I'll leave you today. Send you huge hug, calm hug. Everything is cool, and I hope that this information really helped you to, you know, give your next step. That we may all get out of that fear zone into some learning and growth. Huge hug. Take care. Bye bye.